This book is why half-star ratings exist. It's not a 3, it's not a 4. It's a celebration of humanity, and that's not a good thing. What is up, you guys? It's me, your girl, your Casey. How you doing? So, one of my favorite authors came out with a new book. One that I knew about for like 2 years, and I've been super excited to read because it's got that Faustian deal with the devil that I love. The Secret Life of Addie LaRue.
I think for a second there, I got this book mixed up with A Secret Life of Pets.
It is what happens when you're a French girl living in the rural French countryside like you do in the 18th century. You know, you milk a cow, you braid your hair, you get married, you have the babies. That's it. You don't leave your town, ever. You don't get to play in the mud, because you're a girl. And no, our girl Addie, she's like, I don't want this life. I want to be able to travel, and I'm tired of getting older because all these mean adults keep telling me what to do. But alas, she gets older. She's 23. She's about to get wed to this grody man that she doesn't want to wed. But then, whoa, she manages to capture the attention of some creepy god who's like, hey, how you doing? I see you have some troubles there. You make a bargain with me and I can make them disappear. I'll let you live forever. You won't age. But no one will be able to remember you. You'll be like a ghost to the world. But you'll be living though. And if at any time you wish to die, just give me a call. Or, you know, if you want to like hang out too, you know, have a little lunch, something like that. So that happens. And now we're in modern day 2014 New York, seeing Addie just ghost through her life. You know, she's just living out of spite to spite our dark god Luke. I love Luke. But then one day, she stumbles upon a bookstore and she meets a man, Henry. Henry's a crybaby. She meets Henry and he remembers her the next time he sees her. What's happening here? So besides that, what's the plot of this story? Well, half of it has no plot. So why I'm torn between 3 and 4, like it's not meh enough to be a 3. It's not good enough to be a 4. I wasn't bored, so it's that little middle chunk. 3.5. Chiefly, this book, without getting into any spoilers, we are able to see Addie's life in the now, 2014, and what she's been doing for the last 300 years, starting back in 18th century France, when she first made that deal. So it's a lot of travel, it's a lot of sightseeing. My favorite parts. That was sarcasm, in case you couldn't tell. So one thing that I did like, especially, was Addie herself. Like, first chapter, we wake up with her. We get like that gloomy feeling of not being remembered. Next chapter, she like goes past the store. She looks at the mannequin. She's like striking the same poses as the mannequins, like some quirky, carefree stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I kind of like you. She's a nice, funny girl. Good. However, one thing, which is a mixed bag all on its own, is her backstory, paired also with her present story. So, when we're back in the past, seeing the aftermath of her deal, we do a lot of traveling, and it's a lot of, oh, look at the city, look at all the world has to offer. Or to the opposite effect, we see how rough the world is and how dingy the city is. So, it's like a perspective of a young traveler. That's basically it. An immortal, forgettable, not forgettable for us, forgettable for everybody else in the world, traveler. But those, honestly, without the dialogue between Addie and her sporadically appearing demon god friend, who just like pop in and say, you want to give me your soul now? She'd be like, no. Without them, those parts are very boring. Because it's literally her just walking down the city being like, yep, these are some sights. Yep, that's a town. Yep. We have the same problem in the present chapters, too. Because, you know, we're in New York City, the big apple. We can't not glorify it. We have to go examine every inch of it. So a lot of this book is chiefly a lot of walking around and sightseeing. Not my favorite part. Maybe your jam. Not my jam. My jam is strawberry jam. This is grape jelly jam. I don't like grape jelly jam. And what I mean by a celebration of humanity in this book is that it picks up all these people and it's like, look how amazing we are. And it just talks about them every minute for so long without stopping. How glorious these people are. Like, forget about the demon god. We gotta talk about this mortal who paints. She's just fantastic. I don't care. Bring me the death god demon thing. So, characters who just pop up once, that once part lasts for like 15 pages. And we never see him again. Like, goodbye, nice knowing ya. Where's the demon god? If you haven't caught on, the demon god, Luke, is my favorite. If I could sum him up in one picture, it would be this one. But without him, this book is either a never-ending date night or a sightseeing tour. Not my jam. And I think it was a terrible thing that this backstory that I wanted, this deal with the devil thing, was actually so boring after the deal was made. It actually did not pick up until we learn a little something about our man Henry. Henry's the dude that remembers Addie. That is when it got interesting. Towards that middle part and onwards, that's when we really focused on the three central characters. Addie, Henry, Luke. Like, we just picked up all those side characters and we just yeeted them back into the first book and we just told them to stay away, which I liked. You know, I never was a fan of Henry. I'm looking at my notes right now and all I have written is Henry is a crybaby. Suck it up. I still agree with that. You know, he's a gentleman. Luke is cooler. So whose team are you on, people who read this book? Team Luke or Team Henry? Team Luke. Addie, again, was a really good character. We saw her stubbornness, we saw what makes her her need to, like, find these loopholes to be remembered by history. And also, this girl was tough and she was savage sometimes. Like, there was a bit of drama going on in the last half of this book. Luke and Addie, they were having dinner. One of Addie's friends is in mortal peril because of Luke's shenanigans. So Addie's like, Luke, don't do this. Take someone else's soul. And Luke is like, okay, you pick. And they're in a restaurant. So he's like, pick any one of these people and I'll do it. And Addie's like, do him. And Luke's like, are you kidding me? You that heartless? Like, innocent bystander would have died if Luke was like, sure, hon. She's a girl who knows what she wants, and I appreciate that. But one thing that I cannot escape from thinking of about this book is, have you guys read Vicious? So, I love Vicious. Vicious was great. But a lot of what I heard, like in comments for any videos I made about it, and also just on Goodreads, or just watching other booktube videos about it, is that it's chiefly backstory, some murder planning, then the finale. I think Addie LaRue is what people think Vicious is. Backstory, substitute murder planning with date night, then the finale. That's really all it is. Half of it's a contemporary, half's a sprinkling of, well, if it's half, it's not really a sprinkling. It's a heap of paranormal. That first half, it was a drag. Like, I was slowly sloshing through it. But the second half picked up, and I was hooked. I loved the second half. I loved the finale. It gave me what I want. So I just want to go into a little bit of spoilers here, just to talk about some surprises this book gave me. So timestamp here. So one of them is like the bad surprise. Like, I was, doing what I do at my job. I was cutting some tomatoes, and I was pretty early in the book, so I'm just chopping away. And I'm like, so if Henry can, remember Addie, how can he do that? Obvious answer is that he made a deal. Although I was thinking, well, maybe his is the opposite of Addie's. He wants to remember everything. So that's what I thought his little gift was. But I actually liked his real gift so much better that people around him just like instinctively love him. I thought that was really interesting. And you guys remember the psycho girlfriend he was with who like tried to set his stuff on fire? Like, you have to let go of the past. Loved it. So I do really like the deals that were made here, but also the ending. Okay, so I'm the type who likes it when the villain wins, or in the rare case, the villain falls in love with the hero and they somehow end up together. But that never happens because the heroine always falls in love with the other dude character, the good one. And I want the bad one and the girl to just go that way and make the babies. But this book actually gave me a villain win. Luke got the girl in a really entertaining way. And I'm like, thank you, Victoria Schwab. Because I love Luke, and I like the little chemistry shenanigans going on. So I was very happy with the ending. But for you non-spoiler people, I also had there's some good surprises that I just talked about. But I also have some questions still, because I've noticed something about Victoria Schwab books. I don't think she likes religion. Every book, from Vicious to Shades of Magic to this one especially, she don't like God. Especially like the Christian God, I picked up on that. So we took up God and we yeeted him that way. But we got this God. So there's like divinity in the world. So gods do exist. And souls exist because Luke wants Addie's soul. So souls exist. Does that mean heaven and hell exist? Not really talked about. But Luke says that if he takes her soul, she'd be nothing. Okay? But then I'm like, why does he want a soul then? Is he going to eat it? Is he just going to collect it?
Is there some eternal fight between good and evil?
Because I'm imagining if you can take a soul, it has some type of value. Usually it's divinity that gives value to the soul, but stuff like that, I don't know. It's thus saying that there is value in the soul because there's a God.
Because it's established that there isn't or maybe there is a heaven or hell, but it is established that if her soul is taken, she will become nothing, but if she's nothing, then the soul is worth nothing. It's like, if your soul has nowhere to go afterwards, then what's it gonna do? It's like, if the soul is really a concoction of the mind and it's just your personality up here, only sustained by your beating heart, then taking a soul is like taking someone's foot after they died. It does nothing. So what's the value of taking the soul? Curse you, V.E. Schwab.
See, that's the rabbit trail my brain kept digging itself in. So it never really answered the question, why does Luke want souls? Like, I don't know if he's going to eat it. I don't know if he's going to put it on a shelf. I love that he sees himself as like a gardener. Like, he waters souls instead of just like putting them away. Like, he says he doesn't put them away. So what does he do with the soul? This is a shrug. It's like, I don't know. And all of my questions revolve around Luke, because there was one scene with him that did not make any sense. Spoiler tag right here really quick. So, later on, Addie and Luke, cozy up together. They're like a thing now. And, they're just like laying in bed, cuddling. And Luke's like, tickling her, like rubbing fingers, like, this thing. And Luke's like, if you just give your soul to me for just a second, I think I can reverse this curse. And Addie, instead of like trusting him, she's like, oh, this whole love affair has been a ploy for you to get my soul. And Luke's like, yeah, it's been. I picked up on some new tricks. He just straight up played her heart. And this was when I was like, oh my gosh, is this a subversion of the trope hero and villain fall in love? I was so for it, even though I'm also for villain and hero falling in love. But then, a little bit later, he's like, no, it wasn't a lie. I really love you. Then why'd you get so angry with Addie when she said it was a ploy to get her soul? And you're like, yeah, it was. Why didn't you just say, no, babe? Like, I really like you. I think I could do this. And like, it was a pretty big argument too. Someone set a house on fire. Not really sure who. So I don't really know what the goal was with him lying. Was it just for drama? Because I'm for drama, but the drama has to make sense. So I think if you want like a nice stroll, that was lame, a nice saunter through the city of New York and through all the French countryside throughout the centuries with a little bit of paranormal stuff in there. Something chill, but with those like harsh dramatic elements that leap up every now and then. This is the book for you. If you want something fast-paced, it's not. It's chiefly date night. If you want a fun villain, take the Luke. Well, don't take him away from me. He's my baby now. Henry's forgettable. All he did was whine. But if you also just want to see how Addie manages to work her way around this horrible, horrible curse, like all the predicaments she got into because of the curse were kind of like stress-inducing. Like if I was her, I'd give up in like a year. Be like, Luke, take me. Take me, Luke, please. Do I think it's her strongest book? No. What is her strongest book? I have to think about that. Because I love Vicious. I liked Vengeful. Darker Shade of Magic was great. Oh, that third book was fantastic. I need to reread this mug. I love V.E. Schwab. This is fine. Go read it if you so desire. Just don't expect epic battles or anything like that. No, you're just walking around New York for a long, long time. I am Casey. You are probably not V.E. Schwab. I am not either. I feel your pain. Stay reading, my friends.